Chris, it seemed like, Christian didn't have, a bad outing for a while, but then you looked up, next thing you know, you're down, 5 runs. What were you seeing from him, and how do you feel like he performed?
I know it sounds crazy. I thought he was pretty good, and his stuff was as good as he had all year. It just, we make 2 errors that cost us about 3 runs early, and then the guy sits on the breaker and hits it out. That's really what it came down to. And if you had to fault him, I guess you fault the HBP and the walks, but he was pretty good. And they've been hot, and they weren't putting a lot of good swings on him until the home run. So that's kind of, I ran him back out there. Usually I take him out, but I just thought the stuff was good, and they were having a hard time squaring him up.
Up next, we'll go to Joe Cook.
Coach, you just mentioned the errors, just those mistakes. I guess how big of a difference did they play in this ball game?
Well, that was a big part of the game. I mean, obviously, them getting a couple there. The one in the first was funky. A funky ball that hits, and then we don't make the play on the bunt. So we're going to have to be better defensively tomorrow and make everything they get earned. That's the toughest part, and I'm sure they'll say that about Game 1 when they played us. So in these pressure environments, you got to make plays.
Up next, we'll go to Robbie Falk.
Coach, I guess if there's one bright spot from this, you had your bullpen mostly intact for that Game 3, all hands on deck. Do you know how that's going to shape out yet and who you might throw out there first?
Nah, I'll meet with the coaches. We'll sit and do a little more scouting and then try to figure it out. But like you said, we pretty much have our bullpen available. And, their guy gave them a great start tonight. They'll have a good bit of theirs too.
Up next, we'll go to Tyler Horka.
Yeah, Chris, just going off of what you just said, what was it about Aiden Tyrell that made him so good tonight?
Well, we couldn't stay off the ball down, and you got to give him credit. We just, we continue to chase down. And most of his starts, he doesn't get a ton of strikeouts. We just could not stay off that low pitch tonight. He did a really good job of mixing and pitching and had good stuff. His velo was a little more than we saw coming in too. So I'm sure he was pretty a little juiced up, but he was really good.
Let's go back to Steve.
Just as these final 27 outs to get to Omaha, the most difficult ones of the year. How do you feel like maybe some of your younger guys are managing the expectations and maybe the pressure of this moment?
I just think we got outplayed. I love the way our guys went about their business tonight. Obviously we don't want to make errors, but we had some really good at-bats too, and they just made plays. And Cade Smith ran out there late, pitched good. And like I said, it's baseball. You scratch it and you get ready to go the next day, and our kids will be ready. They played in this environment all year, and we've kind of been in this Sunday game for a series a lot this year, and our kids have always responded. So I'm looking forward to seeing them play tomorrow.
Up next, we'll go to Joel Coleman.
Kind of, I guess, on the flip side of what Steve was asking, you go to, I guess, into the game tomorrow night with Rowdy and Tanner, of course, leading this team, and their career was kind of started with a lot of adversity back in 2018, and then you had the COVID year last year. They faced a lot of adversity in their careers. How much comfort does that give you to know that you'll have those two out there with you, and of course Hatch and some of those guys too have been through a lot of adversity in their careers.
Yeah, it's as great as the careers have been. It's not always easy. When you play in the SEC, when you play here, you play so many great teams, you have to be able to bounce back. And one of our greatest qualities is we've bounced back. We bounced back from a lot of things this year. And so those two guys and all the other seniors that have been around, they're a big part of that, and they're a big reason for it. And like I said, we erase it from our memory and be able to go out there and play good baseball. And we've been playing good lately. So it'll be a fun day tomorrow.
Up next, we'll go to Trey Mongrue.
Chris, I'm sure the scouting report after they scored 50 runs in a regional last week showed a lot, but seeing them up close now for 2 days, what is it about this Notre Dame offense that makes it so tough?
Well, they're good, they're well coached, and they're hot. They're just hot at the right time of the season. So, which most teams getting to the postseason are hot. So, but they're just a combination of all three, and they have a good plan, and they've hit some balls in big spots. And so we got to pitch a little better and make a couple more plays, and then we got to match them. Yesterday we matched them offensively. We got to do that again tomorrow.